brujeria is real, black magic is real. I don't care if you guys believe in it, but I just know like you don't believe in things until it's being done to you. Hi bitches, so I have another story time for you guys. So for today's story time, I'm gonna be telling you guys the time I had brujeria done on me. But before I fucking start, I'm gonna tell you guys something that... Anyways, I don't know if I'm having brujeria done on me or if this is just bad luck or coincidences, but a couple weeks ago I posted a video of me telling you guys that I was fucking dying because I caught a bad tooth infection. I was rushed to emergency room. I got put on antibiotics or whatever. Okay, not too long after I finished my antibiotics, I thought I was gonna fucking die again. And today I just started to feel like 100% better, but I caught the fucking flu, or I don't know what the fuck it was, but I was fucking dying. I was in my bed, and then on top of that, both my kids got sick. So I was dying, and my kids were fucking sick. You guys have no idea how it feels like to look after two sick kids and you being sick yourself. Like, I was fucking just going through it. I've been dealing with so many health issues. I don't even know what to do at this point. Okay, so now that I got that out of the way, I'm gonna go straight into the story. Okay, so 2 years ago, I weighed 69 pounds, okay? Like, every week, I was drastically losing 4 to 5 pounds, and I ended up weighing 69 pounds, okay? I was in and out of the fucking doctors, seeing different doctors, getting tests run, and every doctor would tell me the same thing. They had no idea why I was losing so much weight in so little time. And I honestly thought I was gonna die. I have pictures and stuff, but I just don't want to post it because I was so insecure. Like, looking at my body, I was just so bony. I was just going through it, okay? Every doctor kept telling me the same thing, and I also ended up having a nutritionist, and honestly I stopped going because it was like the same thing that I would hear over and over every time I would go. Like, you have to eat this, don't eat this, well, you know, whatever. I kind of grew tired of like listening to the same shit because nobody was telling me what the fuck was wrong with me, right? I was obviously having so many tests done, and everybody kept telling me the same fucking thing. Like, they had no idea why I was losing weight drastically. But this is how I found out like I was having like brujeria done on me. So my parents ended up getting a second opinion. They know people in Mexico, and they were like, no, maybe like this is like brujeria because this is not normal. Like, doctors are telling you like the same fucking thing. No one's finding anything wrong with you, so we're gonna have to get a second opinion. At the time, I did believe in brujeria, but I didn't believe it was being done to me. I was like, no, like this is something else. Like, maybe I caught something, or I don't know. I just thought like I was sick, right? Wrong. So we get a phone call from one of my uncles that live in Mexico, and they were telling me that the guy that they hired, my dad had to pay $300, right, to get cured. And around this time, I was just like, you know what, like, I don't believe in it. I don't believe that brujeria has been done to me. And the fact that this guy is asking for money, it just seems sketchy, right? Like, I was just like, no, I think he's just trying to scam us because like he's trying to profit out of whatever I'm going through. And so we were like, okay, like this seems sketch, right? Okay, anyways, yeah, we thought he was sketchy, whatever. He ends up calling my parents, and my parents answer, and this man is telling them things that only I know, and only things that I know that I was going through that I didn't tell my parents about it, you know, like my health issues. I don't want to say too much just in case, because whatever I was fucking going through at the time was fucking scary, and I don't want to relive that. But anyways, this man was saying so much shit that only I knew, and this is like when I was like, oh my god, like this shit is legit. Like, this shit might be legit. Like, maybe brujeria is being done to me, right? And he was just basically telling me like someone that he didn't know who, but someone was doing like evil things like to me. Not long after my parents gave in, they gave this man the money. He started praying every day for like, I don't know if it was like 3 weeks, 2 weeks. I don't remember exactly what he did. I'll have to ask my parents about that. But not long after that, I'm not even joking, I started gaining weight. I started feeling way better. I want to insert pictures, but maybe like in another time, because I don't know. I saw like my body like drastically lose weight. I started feeling so insecure. I started wearing like oversized t-shirts, sweats, like every single day during the summer. Like, I didn't give a fuck, okay, because I was just so insecure. Like, I couldn't believe like my body was like dying. But yeah, so that's like how I know like brujeria was being done to me, because the things that this man was telling me that they were doing to me, like evil things, I genuinely was so scared. I was like, oh my god, like at first I didn't believe in it. Like, I did believe in brujeria, but I didn't really believe in it, like until like hasta que te pasa a ti, ahí es donde vas a creer. Like, this shit is real, guys, okay? Brujeria is real, black magic is real. I don't care if you guys believe in it, but I just know like you don't believe in things until it's being done to you. And that's dead ass what my case was. I didn't believe in brujeria that much until things were being done to me. And to this day, I don't know who was doing brujeria to me.
I don't care if it's still August. School is officially over, therefore it is spooky season. So I'm gonna tell you a spooky story. This is true and this happened to me. So you're gonna need a little bit of context before I jump right into the story. My grandparents on my mother's side live out in the country in Oklahoma. When I was younger, we would go out there and visit them frequently, at least once a year. This particular time, we're going to visit them. I can't remember exactly how old I was. I want to say I was like 10, somewhere between the ages of like 8 and 11. So we go up there for a small family, like close family reunion type of thing. I should also mention that this house is old. If that wasn't already obvious, this house is old. It's old as my grandparents. It's older than them. So at this reunion, everyone's outside. They're grilling, barbecuing, sitting, chit-chatting, talking, whatever. It was starting to get a little bit chilly, so I was like, I'm gonna go inside and get a jacket and I'll be right back. So I run inside. Mind you, nobody else is inside the house. Everybody's outside getting their barbecue on, okay? I run inside up the stairs to my room to grab a jacket. In this room, there's the closet, and then next to the closet right here is a little door for a crawl space. I grab my jacket, I turn around, the crawl space is open. The door is cracked open. I'm like, oh, okay, let me just go and close that really quick. I go over, I open it a little bit because I'm like, what's in there? Not expecting there to be anything in there. I open it, and there's a staircase. A long staircase going up. So what does 10-year-old me do? I go up the staircase. Something was just speaking to me, telling me that this door was open for a reason and that I'm supposed to go up in here. So I get to the top, there's another door. I open the door into this grand hallway. It's like white and gold marble columns, but it's a long hallway. And there's a bunch of doors going down, and then another door at the very end. Immediately, I'm like, what is this? Where am I? And a little freaked out, obviously. Something was calling me to go to the door at the very end of the hallway. Forget all the other doors, go to the one at the end of the hallway. So I start walking down this very long hallway. And all of these doors are shut, right? And then I feel like something's watching me. I look and I see further down the hallway, one of these doors on the left side, an old woman, a very creepy old woman, is peeking her head out of the door and watching me. And then I would see her pop out of a different door and be looking at me, and then a different door and then be looking at me as I kept progressing down the hallway. Finally, I reached the end of the hallway to the door at the end, and I was so compelled to open it. So I opened it, and I left the door open. When I entered the room, I left the door open, okay? And it's a complete change of environment. The hallway was white and gold, marble columns, like very clean, very, I don't know, elegant. Walk into this room, it's like your basic old dusty attic. Boxes, spider webs, it's dark, creaky wood. And there's a circular window across from me at the other end of the room. The same exact circular window that you can see from the front yard where everyone is outside. So I walk over, I look out the window, and I can see everybody down there, but it's like there's a weird filter over it, where it's in like black and white, and they're all skeletons. Everyone's there, moving around like normal, grilling, laughing, playing, but they're skeletons. And as I'm registering this, processing it, the door behind me slams shut, and I turn around, and the creepy old lady is standing behind one of those piles of boxes, looking at me with the most sinister, it was the most evil I've felt in my life. I ran faster than I've ever ran in my entire life. Out of that room, back down the hall. I did not look back a single time. Back out the original door, back down the staircase, and I shut the crawl space door behind me. I grabbed my jacket off of the bed where I had set it before I went up there, and I put it on, walked downstairs and back outside, like nothing happened. The next time that I come over to visit my grandparents, about a year later, I have not told my grandma this story. I've not told her anything. I come over, I go to sleep in this room. I'm already a little bit apprehensive about it because of the previous events. I step into the room and I see that the crawl space is now boarded and nailed shut with blankets over it as well. They boarded that up. And then just recently, a couple years ago, I actually told my grandma about this, and all she does is go, yeah. Goodbye.
Can we show them the older homestead?
Yeah, let's go. As you know.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Was that you?
Yeah, that's on either side.
They went to both.
Yeah.
I'm finally ready to tell you guys about the creepiest influencer I encountered when I was living out in LA. The story starts in 2016 when I met them for the first time. At this point, I was still living in Arizona, but I would just randomly drive out there for a couple of days. I don't know why. But while I was out there, this male influencer, we're gonna call him Lennon, pretty close to his first name, but I'm not trying to get sued, so we gotta use a code name. So when I first met this guy, it was very obvious that he was just trying to do a quick hookup type of thing, so I kept it quick and short, and I didn't plan on ever seeing him again. A couple months later, me and my friend Alexia ended up moving out there together, and one of my first friends that I made was Denzel Dion. And one day he asked me, hey, do you have any other friends out here? And I mentioned Lennon, that it was just like a quick little interaction, and he told me, oh, that's actually my friend. Honestly, girl, I don't know who invited him, but just randomly one day he showed up to one of our hangouts, and he just kind of became a member of our group. I kid you not, maybe only 2 or 3 weeks into us all hanging out, he got a little too comfortable, and all of a sudden he's saying all these degrading things to me out loud in public. Like, we'll be in the middle of a restaurant and he's talking about what he wanted to do to me and just all this crazy stuff, and we were so embarrassed. And he doesn't just stop at the nasty talk. Eventually he starts groping, touching me, and just being super like touchy. When he would do these things, I would yell at him and be like, can you stop? Like, can you keep your hands to yourself? But everybody would just laugh about it. So eventually it just became like a normal thing, which is so strange to say out loud. Girl, one day I had enough and I just snapped. I went off on him and he exited the friend group. Fast forward, my lease is up and I move into this apartment complex in Glendale that all of my friends were living at, so we could all just be together all the time. Like, I'm talking about breakfast together, lunch, shopping, dinner, falling asleep at each other's places, and then restarting the next day. We were all very close. One day, me and another girl in the friend group were just talking about boys, and I brought Lennon up and I told her how he made me feel so uncomfortable and just how nasty he was towards me. So when I tell you I was shocked when they started dating, now Lennon is at every breakfast, lunch, dinner, hangout, and if he was a normal, decent human being that wasn't weird as fuck, you would think that, oh, that would be fine. The past was the past. He has a girlfriend now, so like he's not gonna be weird towards you. Wrong. We would be in a small ass sushi restaurant and he'd be rubbing up all on her, but looking me in the eye. Like, I would always purposely try to sit as far away as possible from him so he could not look at me, because he was always constantly doing this weird shit. He'd be looking right at me and like trying to pull my friend's shirt off. Eventually we decided that we all want to go to Miami, and I told my friends, please do not invite him. Like, can we just make this a friends trip? No boyfriends, no girlfriends. But no, Lennon ends up booking a flight as well, and when we're all boarded on this plane, we're looking around like, where are they at? Why did this man start a fight saying he didn't want to go because I was gonna be there, so they missed their plane? They ended up catching another flight and they met us there later on. There ends up being this huge fight at the dinner table, and while we're walking back to our hotel, this guy's behind me texting me how much he hates me, like literally walking 10 feet behind. Your girl had other friends that lived in Miami and Fort Lauderdale, so I just made the best of the trip and did my own thing after that. We go back home and he doesn't stop his shit. Every time I'm around, he's starting a fight, he's starting an issue with me. Sometimes I would go, he wouldn't be there, and he would eventually just show up, so I just kind of made my own other friends outside of the group. So if me and my new friends would walk into a party and I would see him there, I'd be like, okay, let's go somewhere else. It's still crazy to me how I vented to this girl about all the crazy stuff, because it was bad. And then she went on and dated him. So when I saw that TikTok that went viral a couple months ago of that girl saying that he was her childhood and middle school bully, I was not surprised, because he's the king of making people fucking uncomfortable. Another reason why I wanted to move out of LA. That's it for the story time. I'll see you guys in my next one tomorrow. Bye.
Now stop, let's have a real conversation. Imagine this. Imagine you telling yourself you're gonna date safe, you're gonna just, take your time, this, that, and the other. But then you meet somebody in close proximity around where you stay. And he's nice, he's cool, he's chill, he's just your type. But in the beginning, you give him no play because you're focused, you're minding your business. So every time he speaks, you just give him a light hey. And every time he tries to stop you and have a conversation, you're like, oh, I gotta go, because you really have to go. You're a busy person. So time goes on. You're bringing in the groceries, hypothetically. And he like, oh, you need help with that? You're like, no, sweets. Oh, I got it. You're like, no, let me help you with that. Like, stop. So you're like, okay, whatever. Let him in. All right, cool. And so as you stop to say thank you, he says, I've really been trying to get your attention, which you already know, but you're on your own zone. So you're like, I know, I'm just a busy woman. He's like, let me take you out, blasey blasey. And so you all get acquainted just a little bit. Y'all start to kick it a little bit. Like, he's cool. Nothing crazy. And so one day he says, you want to come over and watch a movie? We stay in close proximity. Why not? And you're like, you know what? Let me stop being so hard up. It's cool. Like, yeah, I'll do that. Y'all have hung out. Y'all have got to know each other. It's kind of cool. What if this happened to you? And let's just say as y'all were watching a movie, you're laying on his chest and you're just laying it. And he says in a real smooth way, so is that light you keep on your living room light or your bedroom light? So as you're laying there on his chest, you couldn't have possibly heard him correctly because you stay somewhere far, far off, secluded, even though it's in close proximity. So you say, what you say? And he says again, so is that light you keep on your living room light or your bedroom light? So now you laying on his chest thinking to yourself, how would anybody see that light? He said, look, as you're laying there on his chest, I've been watching you for a long time. What do you do? I've been liking you for a long time. Now this you know, but you don't know where it's gonna go next. There's some days I see you leave out every day, and I think to myself, if I ever had her, I would. And you waiting, but he doesn't say no more. Now as a woman, you're in a position where you cannot run, you cannot go anywhere. You're in their house, in their territory. So he continues. Yeah, I would see you sometimes with your dress on, going to stores and stuff. And you're thinking to yourself, how would you see me at the store? Around the way is cool, but at the store? And as you laying on his chest, he goes further and says, sometimes I would screenshot your toes on your Instagram because your toes, you always got them white. Oh, snap. Part two.
Dear Santa, I don't know if you're real or not, but I'm begging you to bring me a doll for Christmas. If you don't bring me a doll, I will have to ask the devil for it.
That was a lot.
So there was a lady named Anna, and this happened to her when she was 8 years old back in the 80s. She says that at the time she lived in Mexico with her mom, dad, and her grandmother. At the time, they didn't have a lot of money and they lived in a very poor neighborhood. Sometimes they didn't even have enough money for the most basic things that they needed at home. She remembers that it was around the holiday season and she would see a lot of kids out in the street, playing with their new toys and things that are being gifted to them. Even at the age of 8 years old, she knew that she wasn't gonna get anything for Christmas. She knew that her family didn't have enough money to buy gifts. But even with no hope in the world, she still wrote her letter to Santa Claus on the 24th of December. Dear Santa, I don't know if you're real or not, but I'm begging you to bring me a doll for Christmas. If you don't bring me that doll, I will have to ask the devil for it. She says that in her innocence, she thought that by threatening Santa Claus, it would motivate him to bring her the doll that she really wanted. She said that night they had a family dinner, they ate, and they went to bed. But right before she went to her bedroom, she said that she looked at that Christmas tree and she just begged it to have a gift when she woke up in the morning. The next morning when she woke up, the first thing she did was run to that Christmas tree and she stood there in shock. She couldn't believe it, and in that very moment she screamed so loud that her grandmother and her parents came running into the living room thinking something had happened. But her scream was of happiness because under the Christmas tree there was a box, and inside that box was a doll. The doll was just as big as her, and it was the most beautiful doll she had ever seen, and she just remembers how her parents and grandmother were looking at her and they were just so happy because she got a doll for Christmas. She said that day was one of the happiest days of her life, but it was only because she didn't know the hell that they were about to go through. As time went on, she started to notice really weird, strange things about the doll. At nighttime, she would always place the doll in the box that it came in because she didn't want it to get dirty. However, every time she would wake up, the doll would be sitting in a chair at the end of her bed. I already have chills. She says that one day her entire family went out and they were coming back home. And when the door opened, every single person saw when the doll ran from the living room all the way to her bedroom. Oh my god, I have goosebumps. Can you imagine? Like every single one of her grandma, her mom, her dad, they all saw the doll run to her room. In that moment, out of pure terror, her mom fainted and fell to the ground. And her grandmother just started praying. She was also terrified of what she had just seen. In that moment, they can hear where things were falling and breaking inside her bedroom. The dad, with all the courage he had, decided to go in there and check it out. What the dad saw when he walked into her bedroom was the doll sitting in that same chair and everything in her room just destroyed. That same night, the grandmother confessed to her parents that on December 24th, she took all the money she had, which was only 30 pesos, and she was on a mission to buy a gift for her granddaughter. She was having no luck finding a store or anybody that can help her until she came upon just like a whole bunch of trash. And in that trash was the doll. She couldn't believe that she found like the most beautiful doll just in that trash, and she ran back home to put that doll under the Christmas tree. So the following day, her parents took the doll and they went to go throw it as far away as possible from their home. Unfortunately, the next day, that doll was inside of their house again. She mentions how the next following days, her parents tried a lot of different things to try to get rid of this doll, and it would always come back to their house. But that wasn't even like the worst thing, because they started to experience paranormal things in their home. They would hear footsteps, some things would just like move by themselves, and they started to hear like little kids laughing. The family became desperate and they brought a witch to the house to help them. When that witch saw the doll, she told them that she did not have enough power for what they have in their house. She could not help them. However, she did tell them that that doll was possessed by a demon. She says that her mom, in the desperation to get rid of this doll, ended up going to a church that was around their neighborhood. When she got to the church, she stumbled upon a priest who was lighting up candles or incense, I think that's what she said. And she ended up telling him everything that was happening in their home, and the priest agreed that he would visit their home at nighttime that same day. The priest, his name was Ezequiel Monteverde, and told her that she would go to their house at 8 p.m. And at 8 p.m. on the dot, he showed up to their home. The second that that priest stepped into their home, it got so cold, it almost felt like a freezer inside of their home. The priest walks to her room, sees the doll, and tells her parents that it does not matter how many times you take the doll out, it was gonna end up coming right back. He said it was because the demon that was inside of that doll was very powerful. She said the craziest thing happened. The priest told her parents that the only way that they were gonna get rid of it was to form an exorcism on the doll in order to return the demon back to where it came from. It was the most intense thing that she had ever experienced in her life. She remembers the priest taking out the Bible, taking a cross out, and some holy water. But the priest took 2 hours in the room with the doll, and in the meantime, the lights would flicker, things were moving on their own, and there was also a point where that doll was almost like convulsing by itself. What the fuck? She remembers when the priest finally tells it one last time, "I order you to leave this doll and leave this family alone." She remembers when he said that sentence, all the lights went out. However, there was an immense sense of peace in that home. The priest also kneeled down and started praying, and then just like nothing, stood up, grabbed his Bible, holy water, the cross, and the doll, and left their home. She said that she remembers her mom running to their bedroom and getting like the littlest bit of savings that she had and attempted to give it to the priest, but he was like, "No, I don't need your money, it's okay." So the next day, the mom was so happy that everything had been peaceful in their home that she had gone to the supermarket and brought a lot of fruit. She decided to make like a fruit cup, and she was gonna go and take it to the priest just as a thank you for what he did for their family. When she got to the church, she saw another priest at the door, and she asked him where she could find the priest Ezekiel so that she can give him the fruit. However, the priest was like, "Lady, is this a joke?" And she was like, "No, I would like to give him this fruit as a thank you." And that's when the priest told her, "Lady, priest Ezekiel has been dead for over 10 years.
What the fuck was that? Bro!
What's going on around you?
I don't know. I'm frozen. I am frozen.
Did the window
Sean.
break?
I got my snack, so get yours. It is a snack. I'm Haitian. So, there's this girl. Let's call her Deja. Deja had got home from work and she was tired. She ate dinner, she took a shower, she read her book, and then she went to sleep. Now, Deja is a very light sleeper. I am too. Like, somebody could walk past me and I'll wake up. So it wasn't any surprise when Deja woke up at 3 a.m. to somebody knocking on her door. She knows it was 3 a.m. because when she woke up, the first thing she did was grab her phone and look at the time because it's the middle of the night. Deja's like, who the hell could be at my door at 3 a.m.? Deja also knows better, so she didn't open the door. She went and looked through the peephole, but no one was there. So she's like, am I bugging? Like, I could have sworn there was a knock that woke me up. And she sat there contemplating for a while if she's bugging or not, because she's not going to wake up for no reason. She's like, all right, forget this. I'm going back to bed. She goes back to bed. She lays down. And the moment her head touched that pillow, she heard the knock again. And so she sat up. She's like, am I tripping right now? And as she's questioning herself if she's tripping, she hears the knock again. She's like, okay, I'm not bugging because I heard it. So she went back to the door, looked through the peephole. There's still nobody there. Deja had this neighbor. Y'all know how everybody has that one neighbor that just knows everything? Like, that neighbor watches everything and just looks out. He's like the block's cop. So an idea crossed her head. She's like, maybe it's my neighbor, but I don't see anybody. And she's like, I feel like I should call my neighbor to see if my neighbor's up. Usually, sometimes her neighbor be up around that time. So she calls her neighbor. Let's call the neighbor Mr. Hanks. Mr. Hanks picks up, and Deja's like, hey, Mr. Hanks, I'm so sorry to bother you. I really don't mean to call around this time. It's just that I keep hearing somebody knock on my door, but I don't see anybody outside. So I was just wondering if you saw anybody, like, walk away. Because someone keeps knocking at my door, but I don't see anybody. So Mr. Hanks is like, yeah, you're fine. I'm up. I thought I heard a knock too, but I didn't pay it too much mind. But it's okay. I'll come over there and check it out for you. So that made Deja feel a little better because the neighbor's coming just to, like, you know, help her feel a little more safe. So she's like, whew, I'm going to go back to bed to my room until Mr. Hanks comes. She goes back to her room. She closes her door. She gets into bed, but she's not going to sleep because she's waiting for Mr. Hanks. As she's sitting on her bed, scrolling on her phone, she heard a knock again, except this time that knock was on her room door. Like, somebody was knocking her room door. So it only means that something or somebody is inside the house now, which is impossible because she never opened the door. So it's safe to say now she's frozen. She's terrified. She is freaking out. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know what to say. She doesn't even want to open the door. She's terrified. She grabs her phone to go and dial 911. She's trying to do this as quiet as possible. And right when she was about to do that, her window, somebody started knocking on her window. And it's the window, so it's clear. She can see nobody's there. So she immediately drops to her knees and starts praying because she doesn't know what to do. Because what is she going to say to the 911 operator? What's she going to say? There's a ghost knocking on my door? There's a ghost knocking on my window? Please come check it out. Like, she don't know what to do. As she's in front of her bed, on her knees, praying, she sees something under her bed. Now, Deja's a very clean person. She doesn't keep, like, she's very clean. She's like a germ freak. So when she saw something under her bed, she's like, impossible. And the way that the thing was, like, the way it was placed, it was as if somebody planted it there. So she goes under her bed. She reaches for whatever that she saw. She pulls it out. And it's the underwear of the person she last had sexual relations with. It was his boxers. And not only was it his boxers, when she touched it, it was oily. As if, like, the boxers that had oil on it. And it was, like, wrapped, like, as in, like, a small little ball so that it can be hidden. And when she opened the underwear, there were herbs inside. Herbs. The Haitian came out of me and I said herbs, but you get it. Deja is no stranger to witchcraft. She doesn't practice it, but she knows about it. She's like, holy shit, he got me. So she starts praying even harder. Like, she unravels the thing. She takes everything apart, goes in her drawer. She gets a lighter because she had a bathroom, like, in her room. She ran to the bathroom, ran to the sink, and put the underwear on fire as she's praying over it. Y'all, when she started to burn that thing, it wouldn't burn. Mind you, the underwear has oil on it with herbs, so it should be catching fire, but it's not. And the more and more she's praying, the more and more she's trying to set it on fire, the knock that was at the door isn't even a knock anymore. It's a pound. She's hoping and praying that the neighbor comes through. However, in order for her to open the door for the neighbor, she has to leave her room, but this knock is now on her room door. So she calls her mom in the middle of the night. Her mom is, like, confused because she was half asleep. And Deja's freaking out. Deja's trying to explain to her mom what's happening, but her mom can't hear her because the knock on the door is so loud. After multiple tries, the mom finally understood what Deja was trying to say. And Deja's mom, too, is not new to witchcraft. She's not even from the U.S., so she definitely knows about it. Her mom immediately got angry with her because her mom is always warning her about who she, has sex with. Because, believe it or not, y'all, having relations with somebody is deeper than you think it is. That's why you're not supposed to do it before marriage. But that's another video for another day. So mom is mad at Deja. She's like, you know better. Why are you sleeping with people you barely know? To the point where they're putting things under your bed. Deja's like, Mom, clearly I know, I messed up. But what can I do right now? Because I'm praying and I'm trying to burn it and it's not working.